Hello children, welcome for today's biology class. So today we are going to study the chapter biological classification. The topics going to be covered are the main criteria for Whittaker's classification and kingdom Monera. Okay, now let us go inside the chapter. So first let us study the contribution of different scientists who attempted to make the type of classification, the scientific basis of classification, how they followed. Different scientists, they showed different approaches. So Aristotle, he was the earliest one. He so to make more scientific basis of classification. So here he divided the plants into trees, shrubs and herbs. So the classification, it was done by Aristotle like that. Then the animals, he divided into two groups on the basis of presence or absence of red blood cells. So red blood cell present or absent, accordingly he classified the animals. It was a very basic type of classification. So and next Linnaeus. So Linnaeus, he put forward the two kingdom type of classification and he classified the organisms into Plantae and Animalia. But anyhow, so in case of the Linnaeus, he in this type of classification there was some demerits. So here, so this system, it could not distinguish between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So children, the eukaryotes are the organisms which have well defined nucleus and the prokaryotes, they don't have such. So all the bacteria are coming under prokaryotes. So and the eukaryotes, it includes a multicellular also, unicellular organism also. This system of classification, it could not distinguish between these two. So unicellular and multicellular organism also, they were not much distinguished much. And the photosynthetic green algae and the non-photosynthetic organism, that is fungi, so they were not being classified properly. They could not be distinguished properly. So that's why this system of classification we could not follow the two kingdom classification. Then later Whittaker in 1969 he proposed five kingdom classification, that is kingdom Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, Animalia. So now also we are following the same type of classification. So while doing classification, the Whittaker he followed so main that is basic criteria. So that is cell structure. So the organism cell structure, it was observed by him, and the thallus organization, how the plant body is there, how is it arranged. Okay, and later the mode of nutrition, what type of nutrition they do, whether autotrophic or parasitic or what type of nutrition they do, and next reproduction, what type of reproduction they follow, and phylogenetic relationship, that is evolutionary relationship among the organisms. He considered all the type and he has done the classification, and all the organisms they are divided into these five kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, so this is the five kingdom classification proposed by Whittaker. These all are coming under kingdom Protista, and this is kingdom Monera. Bacteria are coming under this category. This is kingdom fungi and Plantae and Animalia. Okay, so we'll study one by one in detail. So first let us study regarding Monera. So this kingdom Monera, it includes mostly the bacteria. This all organisms are prokaryotes and they show varying type of nutrition. It can be photosynthetic or autotrophic or chemosynthetic. Autotrophic means from chemicals they can produce the food, but mostly they are heterotrophs. They show varying type of nutrition. They present everywhere. They are omnipresent. Every place you can see, it may be hot springs or deserts or snow or deep oceans, all the places know the existence of this Monera, that is bacteria, you can observe. And they show metabolic diversity also, you can see much among them. So some are parasites also. The structure is similar, that when you observe the structure, when it look, it is very simple type of structure, but the behavior when you observe, it is complex. So on the basis of shape, this bacteria can be classified into four categories. There is spherically called that as the cocci, and rod shaped, that is bacillus, that lactobacillus is coming under this category, or comma shaped, that is Vibrio cholerae producing, cholera causing bacteria are coming under this category, and spirillum, that is spiral shaped. Okay, so like that they show on the basis of shape. So the bacteria are classified into four different categories. So this is the structure of a bacteria, typical bacteria. So here they have no DNA is there, but anyhow it is not enclosed in nuclear membrane. It is lying inside the protoplasm. You can observe the ribosomes. Okay, and the flagellum is there, cell wall, plasma membrane is there. They show very simple structure. They don't have any membrane bound organelles. In the small projection seen over the body, you call that as pili. Okay. So the bacteria can be classified into two main categories. They are archaebacteria or eubacteria. So first let us study regarding archaebacteria. Archaebacteria are a very special type of bacteria because they can live in any type of harsh habitats. Extreme salty water condition, that you call that as halophiles, or they can live in hot springs, that you call that as thermoacidophiles, or marshy areas, that you call that as methanogens. They can live in any of the harsh climatic conditions. And this bacteria, archaebacteria, are divided into three main categories on the basis of the condition they live. Okay, children, so here try to remember these three types of bacteria and three categories also. So these bacteria, they have different type of cell wall structure, so which enable them to live up with the condition wherever they live. Accordingly, the cell wall, it helps them. When you observe this methanogens, okay, methanogens are the methane producing bacteria type. They live inside the guts of ruminants like cow, buffaloes and all, and they produce methane gas. It mainly in the case of gobar gas we produce from cow dung. For the production of methane, it is much helpful. So that's why we are producing methane gas from the dung of these animals. Next one, let us see regarding eubacteria. So these bacteria are true type of bacteria. They have rigid cell wall and maybe they have the flagellum also. If they are motile, if they are able to move, they have flagellum, and they can be classified into, that is, first is cyanobacteria, and the cyanobacteria we call them as blue-green algae. So they are not algae, they are coming under bacteria category only. So these all are blue-green algae. They have no chlorophyll A similar to green plants. So that's why these all are photosynthetic autotrophs. The cyanobacteria, they are unicellular or can be colonial or filamentous, and they can live in marine environment also or terrestrial also. Okay, so here this colonies normally when they are covered by the Mucilla genus or gelatinous sheath. It is some type of mucilaginous substance. It can retain the water, and some of these organisms they are able to fix nitrogen. Example, this Nostoc, Anabaena are coming under this category. So, and for that purpose they have no special structure. You call that as heterocyst. Can you see some structure inside? So small structures, spherical structures. So here you can observe. So these structures you call that as and that is mainly heterocyst. And this heterocyst, they are helpful for this purpose. Example, Nostoc and Anabaena are coming under this category. Previous one we studied regarding archaebacteria. So now we studied regarding eubacteria. So here in the case of eubacteria, first we studied regarding photosynthetic type. They are cyanobacteria. And the next one we are going to study regarding this chemosynthetic bacteria. So from the chemicals they can produce the food. Chemosynthetic autotrophic. Okay, so here mainly they use these chemicals, nitrites, ammonia and all. It can be used by these organisms for ATP production, and they are helpful for recycling the nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, sulfur. So for recycling it can be used. And next is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic, they are abundant, most abundant bacteria type, and they are the decomposers also, and they are helpful to make from curd. So we are making the curd from milk. For that purpose, this type of bacteria, that is lactobacillus, it is coming in this category, even for the production of antibiotics and for nitrogen fixation in legume root nodules, rhizobium, you remember. So for all purposes this heterotrophic bacteria are useful, and some they can cause even the diseases also, severe diseases, that is parasitic type, cholera, typhoid, tetanus. Okay, and in the plants, citrus, canker disease, it can be caused by this bacteria. Okay, so autotrophic and chemosynthetic autotrophic, and heterotrophic bacteria is studied. So next one is mycoplasma, and the mycoplasma are a type the bacteria, and they lack cell wall. They don't have cell wall. All other variety what we studied, they have cell wall, but here they don't have cell wall. They are the smallest living organisms known in the world, and they can survive without oxygen also, and they are pathogenic. Many of the organisms under mycoplasma, they are pathogenic in plants and animals. Okay, these are mycoplasma. And mainly how do they reproduce? All bacteria, whatever you've studied, they reproduce by fission, and during unfavorable situation they can reproduce by spores, and they can reproduce a type of sexual reproduction by mainly they can just exchange the DNA material, transfer of DNA from one bacterium to another by means of conjugation tube. This method you call that as conjugation. Actually, it is not the typical type of sexual reproduction, as they are exchanging material. So what can they can make some variations among them. For that purpose, they follow this conjugation type, and they can exchange. The DNA transfer can occur from one bacteria to another by forming a structure called conjugation tube. Okay, thank you children. So we'll meet in the next class.